So the do while loop has just very little difference with the while loop. I'm just going to see if I can go back to the code we had when we were discussing the while loop so that we could be able to compare the while loop and the do while loop. So let me just hold my Control Z and see if I can go back to that code. So let's stay here, right? This is for our while loop. I'm just going to bring this guy up and then I will make a space for our do while loop. I can see that my picture is somewhere here. So what I'm just going to do is that I'm going to remove these guys so that we have space here. And I'm still going to bring this guy up. So let me put a comment here. This for our while loop and then this for our do while loop. From line 5 to line 8, you can see that first of all, we are checking a condition, right? Before we are now executing this block. So for a do while loop, you have to execute the block of code first before you check the condition. To be able to write a do while loop, use the do keyword first. Do, you put up your block, while you put up your condition, and you end it with a semicolon. Now, let's put up a condition here that says number is less than 10. What do we want to do? What we want to do is that we want to print number is less than 10. I'm going to comment this while loop. Now, we know that what on line 3, number is 10. But first of all, to start with, we have to do this block the first time before we now come down and check this condition. Now, if it is true, well, we go and execute again. We come down, we check this condition. If it is still true, we still go and execute again, and it continues like that until this condition becomes false. So that's just how a do while loop works. Now you can see that int number equal to 10. If I click on run, this guy is going to be printed once. Then he checks this condition and sees that, oh, number less than 10 is actually false because number is equal to 10 here. So a do while loop guarantees that a block of code is executed at least once because you execute the block before you check the condition, and only when the condition is true before you can continue executing. So if I click on run, it's just going to print out this line 12, just going to print it out once, and I'm just going to click on run. You can see that our number is less than 10. So if I do this with a while loop, let me uncomment this guy. So let me just take this block inside here, and then I'm just going to take this condition as well. I just want us to compare the difference between the do while loop and the while. So I'm just going to comment this guy and then try to execute only this guy. You see that nothing is going to be printed because first of all, it checks the condition. If the condition is false, it is not going to do this, right? It is not even going to look through anything. But if the condition is true, it goes ahead to keep checking, right, and keep executing. So if I click on run, nothing is going to happen because number is equal to 10 and saying number less than 10 is false. But then if I comment this guy and use a do while loop, it is just going to run once, right? It will run once because first of all, it does this block before it checks this condition. So if I click on run, number is less than 10. Everything about the do while loop is the same thing as the while loop. So the only key difference is just this do keyword, right? First of all, you do the block, then you start checking conditions. So after the first execution, the do while loop just behaves like a normal while loop that will check condition and execute. So that's that about a do while loop.